Hello everyone, Alex here. So I realized that translating and commenting news in real time is too hard for me because of my language skills that are far from what is required for that. And I need a script, and this video will be made using a script and my laptop as an improvised teleprompter. It should allow me to cover more news in a time and do it better. Let's start. So, the first news is about the decriminalization process in Ukraine. If you're not familiar with it, then I'll explain it briefly. There is a law in Ukraine that states that all the inhabited localities and street names that resemble the Soviet or even sometimes imperial era would be changed, and all monuments of that type should be removed too. And this instance is about removal of an arsenal plant workers that died during the revolutionary events in Kiev in 1917. That's so pro-European and free and democratic, yes. What next? Burning books? Maybe. This one is about Petro Poroshenko, president of Ukraine, asking Bundestag, which is a parliament of Germany, to recognize a famine of 1930s in Ukraine as an act of genocide of Ukrainian people. Well, let me tell something about this famine so that you would be aware. Did it happen? It certainly did. Was it a decided act against Ukrainian people? It wasn't. You can discuss about its cause, but the fact is that the famine was not only on the territory of modern Ukraine. I can tell you about it from a perspective of my own family. My grandfather, Nikolai Stepanovich Amelin, was born in 1927 near Kursk, which is in Russia, and there was a famine there too. A couple of his brothers died then, so this was a terrible thing that happened all over the Soviet Union. But now Poroshenko just wants to use it as a leverage against Russia, which is an assignee of the USSR. To the next one. A constant representative of Ukraine in the UN, Vladimir Yelchenko, stated that there is an important information that the Donetsk authorities are preparing to evacuate the civilians from the city, and that it shows signs of preparing of some kind of provocation against Ukrainian military, which is not far from Donetsk. What are the proofs and even the logic of this statement? Nothing is listed in the article. How I see it is that because of a recent escalation of the situation near Donetsk and massive fights near Avdiivka, they are taking some measures to lower possible casualties among civilians, if that's actually even happening. Armed people in military uniforms are blocking railroads in Bakhmut. It was reported by the chief of the police in this region. He also says that the police is in alert state and is investigating the situation. He says. Why aren't they arresting those people? The answer is simple. There is no law and order in modern Ukraine, and if you arrest some wrong people, you may end up in jail yourself. People who were taking part in Maidan events or fought in the so-called anti-terrorist operation on the East are considered immune. Also, they have a lot of friends that also fought on the East and probably have weapons, because gun control in modern Ukraine is just non-existent. Those police officers are merely afraid for themselves and their families. The article's name is A People's Control. It says that some musicians, activists, are to count a number of Ukrainian language songs that are being played in the media and report if the number is less than 25%. For you to understand, on November 8th of 2016, a law took force that states that in any kind of media, the quantity of Ukrainian language songs must be not less than 25%, and the National Council of TV and Radio is to control it. It's so democratic that the EU and the US should learn from it, I guess. Mass attack on Russian banks. So, in Kiev, activists attacked some of Russian banks' offices. They painted them with red paint. And welded the doors. The writings say, "Fuck you, Putin," "Occupants, get out." This is a bank of an aggressor country and is to be closed. Welcome to Russia. Fuck you, Putin. And the sign below is a runic symbol, Wolfsangel, and it was used by the Nazi Special Forces Tank Division, SS Das Reich, during World War II. No Nazi in Ukraine, of course. The next one is called "Why Putin Doesn't Want Sanctions to be Removed." So the article says that the Russian government won't benefit from Russian currency to grow, and removing sanctions will cause it to grow by 5 to 10%. And a strong national currency will decrease the Russian companies' ability to compete on a foreign market. Actually, the growth of national currency will benefit the Russian government because it will gain a hell lot of support from Russian people, which is already high. But there are really some reasons for Putin to want the sanctions to stay, and I will name some of the most obvious. The fear of sanctions will force the Russian oligarchs to invest and store their money in Russia, because abroad they can be arrested, like it already happened. The sanctions give us a moral right to continue our counter-sanctions, and let me tell you how good they are for Russian business. They cause Russian metallurgy, pharmacology and agriculture to grow rapidly. If you would read the texts of two latest grand press conferences of Putin, where he answers the questions of a lot of people, then you'll see some agriculture representatives asking Putin not to remove counter-sanctions. The article's name is "We Can't Do Without NATO." Basically, it says that Poroshenko claims that he will carry a referendum about joining the NATO. Currently, by constitution, Ukraine is not to join any military organization. I doubt that NATO wants Ukraine, and of course, Ukraine doesn't meet its membership requirements. But now, when people are scared, they are more likely to support it. Though before, in 2013, only 16% of people supported this. And Ukrainian government may also use it as a leverage against Russia. For instance, It can be used to justify putting some foreign military bases on Ukraine's land. And the last one for now. The new taxes made 128,000 of entrepreneurs to terminate their entrepreneurship. It's 6% of overall amount. The new laws made entrepreneurs pay even if they aren't getting any profit. So, do you think they are now not going to do their business? Of course they will. But now they are not paying taxes and working illegally. One more small point about taxes. In 2013, when I lived in Ukraine, the income tax was 15%. And then, in 2014, it was raised by 5%, a so-called war tax. So, that's how it is to live in Ukraine now. More taxes, more apartment payments, food and gas prices, less law and order, less freedom, less jobs, more shadow economy. See you next time!